Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Susan. This is Maruk. This is Priyanka, and this is Louisa. And we have been asked to present to you today the relationship between the health effects and total particulate matter. So total particulate matter, also known as TPM, is made up of a variety of chemical and physical reactions emanating from smokestacks, wind erosion, or gases such as sulfur oxides and nitrogen oxides. We recommend a three-step plan to the Government of Canada. First, ensure adherence to the Air Quality Management System, also known as the AQMS. Second, implement performance management strategies for the base level industrial emissions regulations, also known as BLERS. And then third, to continue investing in clean technology. We looked at data within the time frame of 2000 to 2015. All data was obtained from different sources demonstrated on this slide. We conducted 4 separate linear models where TPM was the independent for all models. The dependent variable were chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, also known as COPD, asthma, crude mortality, and life expectancy. Now, Maruk will be talking to you about the key findings.
So our main findings were as follow. So we found a negative and statistically significant correlation between crude mortality and TPM rates. We also found a positive and statistically significant correlation between asthma rates and TPM rates. And finally, our regressions did not find any statistical significance for life expectancy and a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So considering our findings, our team carried out an estimation which determined that a 10% reduction in total particulate matter rate for 2015 in the province of British Columbia could demonstrate a potential decrease of 2.74% in asthma rates within the province. So as you see here, our estimation is that asthma rates may decline from 464, as demonstrated at the top of the screen, to 452, as seen at the bottom. So such reductions can potentially lead to better health outcomes for British Columbians and alleviate economic burden on the province's healthcare system. Now, on to our policy story. So more and more Canadians today are living with chronic illnesses. Therefore, there lies a need to improve the health of Canadians. Improved health can also reduce economic burden on the healthcare system in the form of reduced emergency room visits and hospitalization. We recommend that the Government of Canada undertake the following. Firstly, ensure adherence to the AQMS. These requirements are currently not being met by Alberta, British Columbia, and Quebec. We also recommend the implementation of performance management strategies for the BLERS regulations. Finally, we recommend investment in clean technology by enhancing the Sustainable Development Technology Fund. This will empower businesses and allow them to maintain competitivity, to remain competitive. Additionally, develop a subsidy program for households. This is because of a majority of particulate matter is emitted from vehicles, furnaces, and fireplaces. Now, our proposal is in alignment with the goal for safe and healthy communities of the Federal Sustainable Development Strategy. Now I'll move on to Priyanka for our considerations and limitations.
So our largest consideration is that further research and data needs to be collected in order to further recommend policies to mitigate the health effects of air emissions. So our group ran into a couple of problems in terms of actually collecting data. So for example, there was a couple of respiratory illnesses that we were really interested at looking at, but we couldn't find the data. So further data must be collected in order to continue researching in more depth the effects TPM has on health. It's also crucial that income be taken into consideration when we look at health effects, considering that research has shown that those in a lower income bracket experience poorer health, so for example, more chronic illnesses, than those in a higher income bracket. And in terms of our limitations, so for Saskatchewan, our COPD and asthma rates for 2015 had to be estimated because there was no data available. And so we used a forecasting tool called the moving average. And the limitation with this was that unfortunately it only looked at current trends and not any other external factors. So if anything significant were to happen within that year, unfortunately it wouldn't be reflected in our data. Also, unfortunately, our information did not have anything on territories, so that was neglected in our report, so it's something that we would need to look into. And then lastly, and we could not find data on mortality rates specifically due to air pollution. However, we managed to find that around 14,000 to 15,000 Canadians die from this each year. And so overall, that was our presentation. Thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.